Hello everybody, this is a continuation of the video about Office 365, and now I'm going to tell you how to get it for free or how to trial it, and I'm also going to explain different business and enterprise options that you have. And we are going to compare different features so you would have a better understanding of what's included. Now, if you are not sure yet what is the difference between Office 365 and Word, Excel, and Outlook, in that case, please watch the previous video in the series, which explains the concept and what's included and what kind of technology is getting involved. Let's get on with it. I'm going to show you step by step how to get it first. So we'll start with the website www.microsoft.com. You can notice there is a Microsoft 365 option. So Office 365 is not the only thing that exists. There's a lot bigger package of processes, tools, programs, and even operating systems. And Office is just a part of it. But today we are going to talk about Office. So by clicking Office on the top, you'll be brought into this page. If you're looking for Office, you are in the right place. And immediately you can spot 4 different plans. I will start with education, because at the moment Microsoft provides absolutely free Office for any student and teacher. In order for this to work, you would want to show this option to any of your teachers or maybe management staff and explain that it's possible to get free Office for the whole organization if it's a school or any official educational facility. The only rule is that the facility should be registered in the national database as a real education institution. So by clicking education, you will be brought to the page where you can enter your school email address. And even if I try something like Gmail, which is clearly not the school, it will tell me, oops, it's not your school account. And then your IT administrator or teacher from the school would click enroll your school right here, which will bring us to the selection of different plans. So the school could pay for students for much lower pricing, $2.5 or $6. And there is also an absolutely free option. So let's talk about these first. So what does the free option include? The free option allows you to use Outlook, as you can see, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, as well as to have the school email running there, OneDrive with 1 terabyte of storage, SharePoint for the website, Teams, Stream for recordings. So everything you want, all of this is included. What's the catch? The only catch is that there are no desktop applications included. And you'll notice that most of the plans, the cheapest plan, only includes web applications. So you have to use the browser to go to the website office.com. It's office.com. And you have to log in here to get access to your Office applications. 2.5, the A3 includes Office applications which you can install on your computer. So I think still it's a great option to have access to all your necessary Word documents and free email service with Exchange administration included, as long as you are a school. I don't know if it's going to be forever, but this has been free for the last few years from the Microsoft perspective. It's an amazing feat. And of course, by choosing this, you would get started for free, like that. You click get started for free, which will let you create your organization. You provide your email, you set up the account. It's very important to select the proper country, because if you plan to use any billing options in your subscription, you have to select the correct country, because a payment option from a different country will not work and you cannot change it later. You'll have to recreate your account. But anyway, if you go through this, you will get a free trial for a month, and then you have time to actually apply for your school enrollment. There are two options. You can write to support and they'll tell you all the necessary options, or you can add domain. This is something that I'll explain a bit later. So if you add your school domain inside of the settings of your Office organization, you'll be able to prove that it's your school, it's your domain, and then you can enroll as many students, as many teachers as you want for free. So if you are a part of the student group or teacher group, please take into account that you can get Office for free. You don't need to pay anything. Now let's look at the options which are available for home users and for businesses. For home, there are only two different options. It's either family or private, personal. Let me tell you the difference. So the personal is one user, 1 terabyte of storage, and of course the necessary applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneDrive. You get your email service, etc. If you select family, you get 6 users. So technically you could still use one user, personal user, and give access to your friends or maybe, somebody within your household to use this application. But the biggest catch is that you get 6 times more OneDrive storage. So you get 6 users, 6 terabytes of storage. So it makes sense to get the family plan because it's much cheaper if you do want to get a lot of cloud storage. Even if you're by yourself, you can buy it just to have more storage. So let's say I wanted to get the family option. I could buy immediately, but instead there is a specific option to try free for 1 month. That's something that we are going to follow up with if we wanted to get access to this and not pay for at least a month. What about the business options? Well, the business options are way more varied. You have these business options such as Business Basic, Business Standard, Business Premium, and Up for Business. And you see the price per user. It starts at $5 and goes up to $20 per user. And you also have enterprise options. You have to look it up on the previous page here, enterprise. And those are E1, E3, E5. Well, E1 is not mentioned here, but you can find it. The main difference is that, again, the lowest option, which is like E1 or the Business Basic, does not include the desktop applications. It says here, only web and mobile versions included. So if you plan to buy Word and you want to run it in the organization on the computers, you don't want to go with basic or E1 option. You want to go with something bigger. And obviously, if you climb up, like E5, you get more options such as Teams, which is basically a new Skype for business, and you get e-discovery. So yeah, quickly, what's the difference between business and between enterprise? Business is usually more than enough for smaller companies which are below 300 people. You do get access to all the necessary applications, OneDrive storage, and you can get even Teams application, which is basically internal communication. But in enterprise, you have a lot of security, compliance features. I mentioned it briefly in the previous video, where you can control and select alerts for users coming from the wrong sites, wrong computers. And also you get e-discovery. E-discovery is an auditing tool where you can view a lot of logs. You can enable extra logging. And you can imagine, because the Microsoft has to run more powerful and connect extra servers to enable logging on features. Because if the error just happens, the normal approach is error happened, okay, try again, it works. But if you want to see what the error was, then you need to run increased logging. You need to be able to assess the previous failures, and that's where enterprise plans come in. There are a lot of other things which are more granular. For example, enterprise includes Power BI, which is also a tool which lets you script and let's say control specific alerts, well, Power BI is not part of this video, but just imagine that it gives you a lot more option in how you operate your business. So we are going to go with the business, and I wanted to explain the option of apps for business. So the apps for business, you can see it does include all the desktop applications, but it's not as expensive as Business Standard, which includes desktop applications. So what's the catch? The catch is that apps for business doesn't include Exchange Online. So it means that you have Outlook as a client, but you have to have your email elsewhere. on Google Mail, on Yahoo, on Mail.ru, on any other service. And if you go with Microsoft Business, then you get the email included in the subscription. So apps for business is only applications without the email. Think about it that way. So if you already have a company which already has an email service, you don't want any of the Microsoft Business plans, you want the apps for business. But if you do want to have an email service with control, mail flow, auditing, and everything else, then you would go for these settings. And if you want to go above and create extra layer of security, conditional access, and extra logging, then you would go with enterprise modes. I hope that was expensively explained. You can see that I was going to say just explain, but I saw the price. You can see the price varies a lot if you go for this option. So let's try the standard option of Microsoft Business Standard. Let's say I'm going with this option so my users could install everything I want on the computer and I would have access to the email. You click try free for 1 month and it gives you a similar interface where you enter your company information. You provide your email, for example, mine. I want to fill and set up an account. It's Dennis tester. I'm not going to give the full name here. You have to provide a business phone number because without this, it wouldn't work. So I have to blur it out, I guess. Right? Okay. You have to set up the country and company name. For example, it's test tenant wherever. Okay. It's just a small company with 1 person. And the country is Romania, because if I don't select the correct country, obviously I wouldn't be able to pay further when I need to. I don't need the information tips. Okay, this should work. Now I have to verify it. So hold on. I have to check it on my phone, which is my camera. All right, I'm verifying my phone. And this is the name where you set up your domain. So it's going to be my test company forever on Microsoft.com. All right, this is available. So this is my username. It's going to be admin, and I'm going to write a password for this. And at this point, I can sign up. Now, it's not very obvious, but the next step is optional. So it does ask you to add a payment option, which means a card, credit card, debit card, something. But at this point, you have already created your tenant, so you don't have to proceed with this step. Instead, you can open the site office.com and sign in with the username you just created. It used the wrong account. So let me try one more time. So you would want to select your account admin, test company forever, whatever you made, and the password. And you will see that the trial, actually, if you look at apps, is not here yet. So you kind of created the account, but you didn't proceed with the step. So in order to activate the subscription and to get any kind of trial, you would want to go to this admin panel. So right now we are on the site office.com. I am clicking the menu on the top left with 9 dots and I'm selecting admin panel. Alternatively, I could just type admin.microsoft.com. So this would also bring me into the administrative panel. So let's go with this user. And I will show you how would you normally create, assign, remove licenses and get trials. So on the left, you have the menu billing. It can be named differently if you use different languages, but if you get lost in the interface, you can go to the settings on the top right with this jar icon and click change your language. This way you can switch to English if you want to follow along. So in the billing option, if you go to your products, you can see which products are activated. At the moment, there are none. So we want to create an account, activate a trial, but I don't want to add payment methods. I don't want to register my card yet, because I'm not sure if I'm going to cancel it, and I don't want my payment method to be available to other people. Even though it's supposed to be secure, for the purpose of the training, I promised that we are going to do it absolutely free without any credit cards. So I'm clicking Purchase Services. And this is where you can find all the different available types of licenses, which are very different. I told you about Office, business apps. There's also Enterprise. So let's look for our business standard. Business standard. Here it is. So we have monthly payments, or we can buy the yearly one, which will be cheaper. But let's go here, any of them would work, and click Start Free Trial. So you see there is a big blue button which says Buy, and there's also Start Free Trial. And you can also see the comparison of what's included. So here you do have the desktop apps. They're not web only. If you would go for a basic option, you would have web only. So by clicking Start Free Trial, you just need to confirm that you want it. Of course, you have to provide your phone number again. Unfortunately, there are a few things you have to follow up, and you have to provide some of your personal information. All right, text me. The verification code will come shortly. And then you click Start your free trial. You can see it gives you 25 users, which you can trial. So you can go crazy and give it to everybody in the small company you have. Click Try Now. And we are brought back with license existing. So after you get the license, you need to assign it to the user. So I'm going to show you how you can make new users, because you may have more than one user to trial. And then how can you give them different options of licensing? So here is your order receipt. You get 1 month for free. You can confirm it if you go to billing and your products. You'll see it appearing here, Microsoft Business Trial. You see it expires in 1 month. And actually, if you are not against editing the payment method, you can click Extend End Date right here. Then you can add the card, and that will allow you to trial it for 2 months. So if you do that, you can get 2 months for free for 25 users. One more thing about the user. A user is supposed to be one person, but one person can have multiple devices. So I'm pretty sure it's between 6 to 10 devices that you can install it on. So one user can install one license on multiple computers, as long as it doesn't reach the limit of 6 or 10. At some point, I'll show you how you can choose which devices are still registered. For example, if you're installing too many and you want to get rid of some, there are options in Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, to remove the old devices, so you could add more. But let's not go that far. Right now, we have the trial, it's active. And if you go to the active users, you'll see your users available here. Right now, it's only one user, which is my administrator. So here you could add multiple users. You can make as many as you want, 100, 200, 1000. But at the moment, we only have 25 licenses available. Each user will have a name and then a domain. So this will be actually a useful email, which will work. So if I click on this user, on the right, you'll see multiple options. One of them is called Licenses and Apps. So you can see it automatically assigned the free license to my user, Microsoft Business Standard. And if I click on Mail, you will likely see that the email is not ready yet. Let's try that. Oh, it's already ready. Usually it takes a while, from 5 minutes to 1 hour to create a mailbox. So now you can see that the user has a mailbox. And in account options, you can click Manage Username and Email. And you can rename the user if you want. You can add more options. You can see there is a drop down in domains. I can explain briefly what it is. So let's say you're called company. So you can have a domain company.com. If you verify that it is your domain, you can make the email admin@company.com, because this long suffix is probably not what you want, especially in business. In order to be able to do that, you need to add the domain. That will be something that you will do on the left. You click show all. There are a lot more options. Let's close billing. You see there is a lot of options. And in setup, hold on. Is it not settings? No, it's not settings. So here you are supposed to see domains, but it's not available yet. I can tell you why, because we didn't have the license yet. So the option didn't get activated. I'm pretty sure if you click on something else and type domains here, you see it brings us to the page. Sorry, it's in setup. I was wrong. So it's not in settings. So here you could add your own domains that will allow you to have username not in the Microsoft domain, but in the domain of organization. That's something that we will do together a bit later. So right now you have a user that has a license for free. How do you use that? Well, you would go to office.com as a user, and then you can start using everything straight away. As you can see on the left, now I have multiple applications available to me. And if I click on these 9 dots, I have the bigger picture where you can click all apps and see all the applications. So I have Excel. If I click it, you can see I can start working in the browser like that. I don't have to install anything. And this is something that would be your experience if you use a basic plan or E1 or similar plan, which doesn't include local applications. You can see it's a fully functional Excel. I can type, I can make formulas. And I can also save everything in OneDrive. So it automatically saves everything in the cloud. This is my OneDrive, which is like a Dropbox and Google Disk. And all the applications automatically save everything in my OneDrive. So I can go anywhere else and I can open office.com and start working with my documents without anything installed. Now, if I do want to install something, it's not that hard. In the same site office.com on the homepage, there is a button install Office. It's a bit to the right and up. So here I can download everything I want. It will be a one-click installer, which will install the applications locally. There's also an error saying other install options because some of the products are not included in the main Office package. So if you click that, you'll see what else do you have available. If you go through this link, you can also check your subscriptions and verify which specific applications are included. So if you are not sure if it's included or not, after you get assigned the license, you can check it here. So this is all you need to do to get Office for free for 2 months. If you want to add your card, or for 1 month, if you don't want to add your card. And obviously later you can start paying. That's pretty simple. You go back to this admin center, admin Microsoft.com. You find the product that you have a trial for, which is, billing your products. You click on this product once it loads, and you click the button, buy paid subscription now. If you do that, you would want to specify what option. Either you pay month to month or for the whole year. And then by clicking checkout, you need to select how many users. And remember that every user is 6 or 10, I don't know, I can look it up later, but multiple seats, so multiple computers and devices. Now, one more important step is that once your trial expires or any kind of subscription expires, you don't immediately lose everything. You have 30 days to renew or to continue the payment. And for example, if you pay every month, if you don't pay some month, you have 30 days until the content is blocked. So technically, it's almost like 3 months. You can use this for free, but of course, then you have to start paying unless you want to lose your data, like OneDrive and everything. Now, I showed you how to install Office. So you go to the Office and install. You may also want to install OneDrive locally. You would click on this cloud on the left, and there is a button called Synchronize, Sync. If you do that, it will open the local installation OneDrive, and you can select which local folders, such as documents, maybe some other folders, will be put on the disk. I use this kind of storage to store all my Word documents in business OneDrive and all my photos on private OneDrive. And all these options include 1 terabyte per user. So if you have 3 users, you'll have 3 terabytes of cloud storage. I did tell you about Active Directory behind this. So even though you have the users here, this is not where they're actually present. For example, let me add a new user without any specific licenses. I'll make a test user, call it test. I will create a password automatically. I don't need that information because I can always reset it. I am not going to assign any licenses. It's not going to be administrator. And here we go. Finish adding. Now I have a user. If necessary, I can later assign it a license, which will give it a mailbox, access to the applications, etc. One very important thing, if you are controlling this, you need to understand the permissions. So the first user by default gets permissions called global administrator. That's a user who can do everything. So if you click on the user, on the right, you'll find, hold on, the roles. You click manage roles, and this is where you assign them. So if you want somebody else to help you, you can also give them this global administrator. And you can see you cannot remove this from yourself. So the program will not let you remove everything and be left without administrators. But another administrator can remove this role from you. Keep in mind, if you add somebody and you give them global admin, they can log in and remove your role. So only do that with trusted people. All right. So there are gradual roles, but global is the topmost. So what do I mean when I say that this is not the real Active Directory? Well, this is still kind of Active Directory, but it has a disabled forest. It's called resource forest. So there are users here, but they're not controlled from this. You only have very few basic options. The real action, say, happens on Azure Microsoft Active Directory side. And I'm just going to quickly show you how can you access Azure Active Directory. On the new address bar, in the new address bar, you would type portal.azure.com. So it's not office.com, it's portal.azure.com, where you log in with exactly the same user, because that's where it actually is. And that lets you into the portal for actual user management. This is what it looks like. And you can see there are many different resources and features: security center, storage accounts, load balancers, virtual machines. You can even buy and create virtual machines from here. But we're interested in Azure Active Directory. That's an option with a pyramid. So this is my tenant, which I made from that site. So this is where the actual organization is stored. And if I click on users, you can see the real users with all the parameters. And you can actually modify them. You can check the profile settings. And this is the information that you would have inside of Active Directory normally. This is where you can reset the password. But what you would normally do, like I cannot do it now for myself because it's me logged in. But normally what you do, you go to active users in admin center, and you can reset passwords from here, like this. And you can actually type it in if you want. So for example, if you have a saved credential, but you forgot your password, of course, you can use the reset option using your phone or whatever is configured, or you can go here and click reset password. I'm not sure why it doesn't work from here. You can see it tells me I don't have credentials, even though it's the same option. This is the strangeness of some Microsoft backend things. One other thing I wanted to tell you, because if you start using this functionality, you'll notice whenever you try to log in, it will try to ask you to provide you with mobile application that verifies you, multi-factor authentication. So let me show you. It's going to happen probably now if I sign out and sign in back to admin.microsoft.com. So let me try to do that. Enter my password. No, it doesn't do it yet. But I'm pretty sure maybe when you start paying, it will start giving you options to connect. It gives you like 14 days to start using Authenticator. There's one setting that will prevent this, and I am going to show you how you can control it. So if you go to the user and in the very bottom on the right, click Manage Multi-Factor Authentication, you'll see that it is disabled. But you'll still get bothered by settings asking you to enter a code from mobile application. So you see it's disabled. That's because here in Active Directory, there is a specific setting. So you go to left menu, Azure Active Directory, that enforces a lot of security defaults. If you go to the properties in the left menu, you'll see there is a small link called Manage Security Defaults. And by default, these are enabled. It means that most of the other settings that you control somewhere else do not really matter, because this imposes the functionality that is designed by Microsoft for better security experience, but also to prevent your account from being hacked. So if you don't know what you're doing, and if you do plan to use mobile application, don't touch this. But if you want, for example, to stop using MFA or to configure some granular settings, then you would want to say no, explain why, and save here. And from that point on, all these extra settings would start working. For example, there are organization settings. And by the way, you can see now domains appeared as well. So I didn't have domains before because I didn't have a license for a bit. And a lot of things you will notice will start popping up as you get a license that gives them. And it's not immediate. Sometimes, even after you give a user an email license, the mailbox appears only like 20 minutes later. Anyways, what I was going to say that on the organization setting page, there is a lot of security and privacy and other settings. For example, authentication, how you log in. As you can see, it says here, your organization has security defaults enabled, which means modern authentication to Exchange Online is required. So you could enable SMTP, basic authentication, and other options only after you disable these security defaults. Something to keep in mind. So at this point, I showed you how you can get the account for free. If you are an educational organization, you can keep using it for free as long as you sign up for this education program. You would have to add your domain, and that's something that I will show you in the next brief video, which is about domain verification and DNS entries. And finally, you can get it for free for 1 month or for 2 months if you don't mind adding your payment details. And in that time, you can verify which applications you need, which you don't. Do you need an email? So for example, now I already have an email. If I click on Outlook, because I have Exchange Online, I can send and receive emails using this email address, which is kind of ugly, but it works. And after you add domain, you can modify the username to use a custom domain. So that's what I do in my main tenant that I use. Anyway, stay tuned for the next video, which will explain how to add your custom domain and start working with basically full credentials and full organization profile that you would normally want in any company. Stay tuned, have fun, and good luck. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.